The Path Beyond Perception, a Mystical Journey to Full Awakening. Introduction: The Path of Realization. The journey of the soul towards full awakening is one that transcends the boundaries of conventional understanding. It is not merely an intellectual endeavor, nor is it something that can be encapsulated within the pages of sacred texts or conveyed through the spoken word. This journey is an experiential immersion into the very fabric of reality, a pilgrimage that demands humility, patience, and unwavering perseverance. The ultimate goal is not the mere acquisition of knowledge, but the complete dissolution of the self into the wholeness of the infinite, where the seeker becomes one with the sought, where realization is not an event but a state of being. In this mystical odyssey, one must recognize that no intermediate state of perception, no fleeting moment of clarity, is the true reality. Reality, in its purest essence, is complete knowledge, an all-encompassing wholeness that is not fragmented by time, thought, or perception. It is a state of being that can only be experienced, not merely understood. The path to this state is fraught with challenges, but it is through these trials that the soul is refined, purified, and ultimately prepared for the final union with the divine. The imperative of perseverance. The spiritual path is not for the faint-hearted. It demands a relentless commitment to inner work, a dedication to persevering even in the face of adversity. There will be times when the seeker must exert themselves to the point of exhaustion, and moments when isolation from the world becomes a necessary step towards deeper understanding. Yet, it is through these moments of struggle that the soul learns to transcend the limitations of the mind and the ego. When one has mastered the mind, neither place nor time holds any significance. Every moment, no matter how mundane or challenging, becomes a gateway to the timeless, a stepping stone on the path to full awakening. The key to this journey is to live each moment as if it were complete, finished. This is not to say that one should adopt a fatalistic attitude, but rather, to recognize that each moment is a microcosm of eternity, a fragment of the infinite. By living fully in the present, without aspirations, desires, or expectations, the seeker opens themselves to the possibility of transcending the limitations of time and space. This state of being, where the mind is free from the distractions of thought and desire, is the true gate to the timeless. The practice of true meditation. True meditation is not an act of control, but an act of surrender. It is not an attempt to manipulate the mind, to force it into silence or stillness. Rather, it is the undisturbed state of mind that penetrates thoughts, observes them without attachment, and allows them to pass without resistance. It is the process of becoming the silent witness, the observer who is aware of thoughts but is not entangled in them. In this state, the mind transcends its usual patterns of preoccupation and enters into a state of pure awareness, where thought no longer dominates the consciousness. True samadhi, the culmination of meditation, is a state that lies beyond perception, beyond processes, and beyond the activities of the worldly mind. It is a state of being where the seeker is fully absorbed in the infinite, where the duality of subject and object dissolves, and only the pure, undivided reality remains. This state cannot be attained through effort alone, for it is not something that can be achieved or grasped. It is a gift of grace, a spontaneous emergence of the divine within the soul when all conditions are right. The nature of right realization. Right realization and right understanding are not temporary states, but permanent states of being. Occasional glimpses of truth, moments of clarity or insight, while valuable, do not constitute true attainment. True attainment is a definitive passage beyond thought, beyond the mind's tendency to grasp and categorize. It is the full immersion into reality, where the self is no longer separate from the whole, but is fully integrated into the fabric of the infinite. On this journey, the seeker will inevitably encounter adverse circumstances, challenges that test their resolve and commitment to the path. These challenges are not random, but are deeply rooted in the causes and conditions of the soul's journey. It is not necessary to dwell on these causes, to question or analyze them. Instead, the seeker is called to move forward with patience, with determination, exhausting all their strength until they have crossed to the other side, to the realm of full awakening. The role of work and effort. While the attainment of full awakening is not the result of effort, the journey towards it requires tremendous work. This work is not about striving to achieve a particular state, but about cleansing oneself of the impurities of the world, of the attachments, passions, and obsessive thoughts that bind the soul to the material plane. The effort required is not to realize purity, for purity is not something that can be attained through force. Rather, purity emerges naturally when the soul has been cleansed, when all that is not essential has been stripped away. From the perspective of the timeless, concepts of good and evil are mere illusions, constructs of the dualistic mind. Yet, within the realm of the world, these concepts have their function. Goodness elevates the soul, helps it rise towards the divine, while evil drags it down into the depths of ignorance and suffering. The seeker must navigate these forces with wisdom, recognizing their relative truth while not becoming entangled in their illusion. Conclusion: the final union. The journey to full awakening is not a linear path, nor is it one that can be mapped out with certainty. It is a deeply personal, mystical journey that requires the seeker to let go of all preconceived notions, to surrender fully to the divine. The final union, the merging of the self with the infinite, is not an achievement, but a state of being that emerges naturally when all conditions are right. It is the culmination of a journey that has no beginning and no end, a journey that transcends time, space, and the limitations of the mind. To those who embark on this journey, the only advice that can be given is to keep going. Continue to walk the path with humility, patience, and perseverance, until you arrive at the goal. And when you do, you will find that the goal was never a destination, but a state of being, a state of full awakening, where the self is no longer separate from the whole, but is fully integrated into the infinite reality.